So I planned and wrote out this report a number of weeks ago before the most recent developments. And the way I had envisioned reporting to you was to tell you. Okay, better? Okay. I wrote this report some weeks ago before the most recent developments, and the way I had envisioned reporting to you was to tell you a little bit about some things we accomplished in 2019, some things we were hoping for in 2020, and some hopes for the future. So please indulge me as I use that same format, but I will address the most recent developments with you. So in 2019, if you could go to the next slide, please. In 2019, we had a number of good things happen. First of all, our education committee, which was kind of non-existent, has formalized. There's a formal standing committee. It meets monthly on the second Tuesday of the month. The committee has a representative from each major area of education in our congregation, and these include adult education, affirmation of faith preparation, youth groups, Sunday school, and Sunday school. Permanent members of the committee also include a liaison from the council, which this past year has been me. We updated the curriculum for Sunday school and affirmation of faith. We designed a new curriculum for our 5th and 6th graders as they transition out of Sunday school into becoming closer to making their own affirmations of faith. We attempted to establish a youth group and hope that will continue. We've had several adult education community opportunities in this past year. We did a dialogues on refugees class and a creative writing look at scripture. There was a writing workshop that took place earlier in the year, and there's a book club that continues to meet monthly. We established the soft nursery space, and that has been well received. So if we could go on now to the next slide. So in 2020, as you know, we've had to make a significant change, and I know you all want to know about what happened with Carrie. Well, there were a number of things that happened, but the final thing that happened that forced our hand was that there was false information on her resume. And that, along with some of the other issues that we were encountering, the decision was made to let her go. We did provide mentoring and coaching for Carrie, but even with that, she was unable to fulfill the initiatives and the tasks that we had outlined in the job description. It was an amicable parting of ways. Carrie showed a great deal of grace when we told her that we were letting her go. She thanked us for letting her have the opportunity and apologized for her failings. No one wanted her to be more successful in this role than Pastor Sarah and the education team and the council. But it's vitally important that we have a strong Christian ed program in this congregation, and we continue to be committed to that objective. So what's going to happen now? Well, Pastor Sarah has already met with two of our Sunday school moms, Cindy Petrozinski and Leslie Anderson, and they're going to take the lead on teaching and organizing Sunday school. There are teachers who have signed up to cover all the way through February, and they're going to use the same curriculum and lessons that we have now. Cindy and Leslie will meet again in a couple of weeks to reassess how things are going and make any necessary changes. We are asking others to be helpers, and we're confident and enthused that we can finish off Sunday school this year with a good, strong program. Confirmation had a parent meeting last Wednesday. There were no questions, particularly about Carrie's departure. Feedback was pretty supportive of the decision for the change. But again, a request was made for additional help from the congregation because the program is not, despite Pastor Sarah's very hard work in teaching, you still need more adults there to make that program work. So the last thing was that Pastor Sarah proposed that the affirmation of baptism Sunday to be moved back to April 26th. That was in favor, the parents were happy with that. And there will be a youth-led service with reading of the faith statements on April 19th. For 2020, there's an ongoing Dialogues on Race class that's been meeting on Wednesday evenings during January. There's a 2-week class coming in February. Yes, thank you. There's a 2-week class coming on February 5th and 12th entitled The Nurturing Heart. We had plans to try to put together a monthly Saturday adult movie night, but it would follow worship at 5:30 with popcorn and drink. That's still going to have to be worked out. There is a youth mission trip planned with Christ Lutheran for the summer, and a weekend retreat is planned for our Affirmation of Faith students. One big thing that we did was we instituted a 2-adult rule, which means we really need more people to be with us when we're conducting education opportunities for our kids. We're doing that for everybody's safety and well-being, the kids and the adult leaders. So that means that you can't take a group of kids into a separate room with one adult. You have to have 2 adults there. We've been doing our best to try to work around that by having everyone in one room, but you still need 2 adults. So that's a great need for us. So if you think that you could help us with that, not necessarily on an ongoing basis, but on even an occasional basis, we would really appreciate it. Finally, our congregation is small and our budget is tight. And it's difficult to pay for all these staff positions to do all these things that we want to do. So we are going to have to be a volunteer-driven congregation. So our education programs in the end are going to rely on what we will do as members to make them work. So we're looking forward. Lots of good things have happened, and I think lots of good things will happen. So on to 2020. Thanks.